Recently accidentally created a case study for the connection between paid ads and organic search. And I mean, accidentally, because I wasn't planning on doing it, just came out in the data. And but Google will tell you, and they preach this for many years, that there is no effect between cause and effect between paid search and organic search. What that means is that if you're running paid ads, you're not going to get better results in organic search. You're not going to show up higher. You're not going to get more clicks. There's no direct connection. Now, but what I have learned over the years that while there may not be a direct causation, there is correlation. So what that means is if you are running paid ads, so you're showing up the top, and then you show up in maps, and then you show up in a video, and then you show up in the little blue links as well. There is a sense from when people end up on the search results, so when searchers get there and they see this, maybe it's a false sense, but a sense of authority because you're showing up in the multiple places. And then you take some of those away, 1, 2, 3 of those away, and you start losing authority. So people click on your stuff less. So what happened recently was a bit of a shocker to me because it was so drastic. It was one of the clients that we control, their paid search and also organic, and they're in the soccer industry, so it is pretty cyclical or seasonal that before preseason, there's more people taking action, or so there's different times where people are more active than other times when they're not. So we run the ads during those high intent times, and we either taper them off or pause them in the, I don't want to say off season because it's often during the season, but in the time when there's less activity. So this was a case for this brand, and we were towards the end of one of the high seasons, wasn't quite there yet, and we'd been running Performance Max, and we didn't have great results with this because it was sending traffic. However, it was not highly qualified, and they weren't engaging, and they weren't converting. So we decided to pause that. And then about 10 days later, we decided that we wanted to kind of take assessment and see what we should be doing with all the paid ads. So we actually paused everything. And that was on for one day. And when that happened, we did that, this is what happened. We saw everything drop. So the dotted line up here is the overall traffic. And then the dark purple, dark blue or purplish, it's labeled cross network, but that's Performance Max. So you can see where we turned it off and it tapered off, and we paused it. And then the lighter blue is paid ads, and the green is organic search. So paid search and organic search. This is when we officially turned everything off. Already trending down. However, when we turned it off, it tanked. Both paid ads and organic went down to the sharp point here. And after doing our assessment, we made a couple of changes. It wasn't anything drastic to the paid ads. We didn't turn the Performance Max back on. We turned the standard or regular ads back on, and you can see the jump in organic, like almost instantly the next day, a big jump. And then, as would be expected, the paid ads ramped up again and continued to run. But this spike here, or drop here, is what was very interesting, because typically when we turn off somebody's paid ads, you see something more typical to what happened here with Performance Max, where it kind of tapers off. It's not such a spike. And in this case, so often people will call it the halo effect from Performance Max, is you're seeing more clicks on organic because you're getting more exposure because your ads are showing up in different places, people are seeing it, and it's getting more brand exposure. Oh, and there was also in July, there was an Google algorithm update that helped this site gain some more traction and rankings and click-throughs. So they were seeing an upward trend, but the interesting thing here is we did see organic go up a bit after turning off Performance Max. Back to my point was that typically when we turn off paid ads, you see a gradual downgrade of the paid ads, and you see till they go down to 0, and then you do often see a slight drop or a bit of a drop in organic. Nothing much like this. That was a kind of a shocker. But the cool thing, it helps us understand that there definitely is a connection between organic and paid ads. I also posted this on LinkedIn a few days ago, and someone called me out and said, well, one thing you also need to look at is if impressions dropped. Because if impressions drop, that is a little bit more interesting than if they didn't, because it's not just that people are not seeing your ad and then not clicking. It also means that your ranking could have potentially changed because the impressions went down some. And this is what happened with the impressions. You can see here, pull that up a little bit. The red arrow here is where we turned off the paid ads. Purple is clicks and blue is impressions. Again, you can see this dip here when we turn it off, and then after we turn them back on, bounce back up. So all these things together can just reaffirm that there is a connection between paid and organic. And although not direct, we do see correlation when you turn off and on ads. So what can we learn from that? Not that Google's evil. We can learn things of how to work with the reality of how it works. So when you're running paid ads, it's not always just about that click and conversion directly from those ads. It's what's happening around it. So it's more of a holistic approach. And you have to kind of step back and look at, okay, what other efforts are we doing? And when we turn these on and off, how's that going to affect them? And that's how we do all of our marketing, that it's a holistic approach and not one thing is a silver bullet. So they all need to work together. And one thing you shouldn't do, and I try and talk clients out of this when they say, well, we don't want to do paid ads anymore, we're going to turn them off. We look at, well, okay, you turn them off, you're going to lose this and this, and this might happen. So we kind of ramp them down and not such a drastic drop so that we can make sure that other things are still working. So I think it's kind of fun, the big change that we saw, and it gives us some great insights, and we are learning these things by looking at the data and not just using our gut. So data is showing us that, okay, we turn it off, things dropped. Like in the other one, we can see a better understanding of the overall picture because the light dash blue is overall traffic. I'd love to hear if anybody else has had this experience, so let me know in the comments. And if you like this kind of content, make sure you follow or subscribe, and we'll see you later.